All right, good morning.
Morning, gang.
Good morning.
Hope you're all safe and well. Lots of chatter in there this morning, which I love to see. Mr. Vosh is in the house.
Vosh,
answering questions.
He's in the green room.
So
he
good.
He didn't know he'd have to answer questions in the green
So
room.
good. Love it.
So Chris Voshall from Mizuno, who I'm hoping most of you will know by now, is going to join us in about 15 minutes. We're going to talk Mizuno drivers and three-wood, among whatever else you guys want. So it'll be user questions. We'll obviously have a few questions for him ourselves, but once he's on, we'll open it up. Whatever you guys want to know, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think Vosh is always great to to get into the weeds, talk a little bit about the story. I mean, we've spoke a little bit about the storytelling and the 3-year process to get it to STZ, STX.
That's right. Yep.
And I think Vosh will do a great job today adding some context with that. So it's just always great to have him on, whether it's an iron launch, a wedge launch, a putter launch, or a metal wood launch. It's great.
I was saying to Lindsay, like, Chris, usually we see him twice a year at this point.
Yeah.
The show plus, honestly, he flew up twice. So actually, we normally see Chris 3 times a year.
Literally any time there is a product launch for Mizuno, we've been
right
so
here.
fortunate that we would be one of the first people to spend time with him.
I know, but this will have to do.
Yeah,
It's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's the world we're in.
So why don't we take, unless there's some announcements you want to make, but if there aren't, then why don't we take 10 minutes or so of just, honestly, guys, whatever you want, questions, and then we will we'll have Chris on.
It sounds like a plan. We've had a busy week. Lots of
We have.
lots of sort of PK sessions. You and I were in a great one with Titleist.
That's
the other
right. Yeah,
day.
the golf ball one was interesting.
Yeah, I
wasn't it?
think the new Pro V1 story, Pro V1, Pro V1X story is pretty compelling. And
Sounds like it.
I think it's very easy for golfers to just think that it's a new box. It's new packaging. It's rebranded. Here we go, 2021.
That's probably the knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it to some degree.
I do as well.
You would imagine
I get it
that
as well.
one product cycle usually doesn't make that much of a difference. But we'll find out. We're going to test them today.
We are. We're going to do some thorough testing with them
So
today.
you'll see, we promised that for Friday, didn't we? So
Yeah,
you'll probably
I
see that
think
video tomorrow. 2021 Pro V and Pro V1X. I was thinking when we were on that call, Titleist guys are going to hate this. Why not just call it the Pro V1 and the Pro X1? Because they kept going, if you're a V guy or you're an X guy, they said that 15 times, so I'm thinking, okay, well that is
makes
clear.
sense, it's differentiation.
Pro V1, Pro X1, you can have this idea for free if you like it, versus Pro V1-X and Pro V1-nothing. It gets confusing, I think.
It does. It does.
I think it would be easy, just such an easy thing to do. Since it's embargo day now, the balls aren't switching around, which is good, guys. If anyone's wondering if Pro V1 is still Pro V1, essentially, it was a clear yes. They've refined, it sounds like close to the green, more spin around the greens with both balls, which is good.
More spin, more spin with both.
Short, I'm assuming that's a cover thing then.
Yes,
if it's within 50
less
yards.
driver spin, more short game, short iron spin.
Interesting, on both, eh?
And then some other refinements which we're going to leave you hanging on because we want you to watch the video. But there's some good stuff in there. It's, I think there was, I mean, I got so much out of that call, and that I love finding out where there's room for improvement. I mean, even beyond talking about that ball, I'm trying to listen to Frederick and the guys and hear about where's there more room for improvement if you unlock certain things. And there's things in this new golf ball that they've actually been able to do that they've not done before based on the evolution of technology and materials, which is really exciting because I think we all look at golf equipment nowadays, whether it's ball speeds, launch angle, spin rates, and go, where do we go from here that's significant? Is it always just going to be incremental, or do we have a leap again?
Are there any leaps left?
Titleist Professional to Pro V1 was a leap.
They're still saying, wasn't this year supposed to be quite a leap, or was that still just like buzz?
This is for them the most significant advancement of their golf ball
since
they launched the Pro V.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting, I know.
Some of this we'll have to wait till we get outside, I'm assuming. I know they were chatting a lot of aerodynamics, but we're going to do the dry ball test to begin with, and then we can always follow up later.
Definitely. What did you think of the kind of launch of the Ricky irons? Was sort of official this week?
Yeah, it was cool.
We saw it when we were
Brian
down there.
LaRoche with a set.
Brian, I know. Brian got a set.
In the bag, apparently. They are so small. There's no offset. And I mean, play them. That's
crazy.
Really good for him. Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah.
They look cool. 700 and something sets.
750, I think 725 or 750 sets, something along those lines. Yet there's not many.
No.
They will be, but I mean, again, it makes sense. There's obviously not that many people who would play them.
I think it's a collector's item for the most part. I shouldn't say no one will play them, but it's kind of like the Tiger Irons. Like I think a lot of people just bought them to have, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
The finish on them looks really good. Bronze kind of.
It does. It does. I think what did Rick Shields done a video on them saying they were the hardest irons he's ever kind of tried or something like that.
I'll look up his title there.
Yep. Well, and to be honest, we cannot go without talking about the biggest news of the week. Adam Scott rocking Autoflex.
My God, that was ridiculous. Like what? So who introduced him to that? Do we know anything? Golf WRX have any scoop on how it happened?
So I think I'd shown you the video I got around the holidays of him trying it.
Yes, you showed me that.
So that was back in December. He was trying. I got like a 1 minute video of him trying it versus a Ventus Red, and he, Adam Scott's standing there talking about the tech. It's this material that stiffens up at impact, so it kind of feels whippy and it feels like it's really loading, but at impact it really is much more stable. And then, but to be honest, I kind of didn't ever think he would put it in play.
No, the putting it in play thing is actually insane. I mean, I can't believe he's putting it in play before I am.
Yeah.
Nuts. So I hope he drives it like. I hope he's near the top of the driving stats or something.
Yeah. Michael's saying that Ian's DMs and mentions were blowing up. It was a crazy few days, to be honest.
Oh, were they?
It was insane. It was insane. Golf WRX were all over it. Johnny had done his usual, like bringing the kind of the talk from the tour to the masses, and he kind of dropped that in there the other day. So it was wild. But I'm just curious, what does it do now? Because he is one of those guys. If he goes out and has a big week, he led the driving distance in Houston at the end of the year there. So he's obviously got a little formula. He's using a TS4 in the head and stuff like that.
What a combination!
If he goes out there and obviously has a great driving week, wait till you see them pop up.
Validation, yeah.
It was kind of like GC Quad, a few guys, then a few more, and then it just multiplied and went insane.
Never thought of that. Yeah, it would be the same.
The same thing would happen.
Domino effect.
Yeah.
It is the first one to go on PGA Tour. A few people are asking that.
Yeah.
So I would say it's about as big a deal as anything.
Really is.
Big a deal as anything.
It is cool.
I would have put money against seeing it on the PGA Tour this year. I would have put money against it.
Oh,
would never have thought. But
definitely.
Hey, he's obviously hit a lot of balls with it, and something good's happening.
Yep. Lots of really cool stories about
validation for all.
Yeah, I know. It's
like
nuts.
Of all things to be talking about, that's not what I thought.
Yeah. CU Buffs is saying that Bryson is too violent a transition for Autoflex. Seems like a bad fit for him. You are 100% right.
Can't imagine he would like it.
You are 100% right. I mean, I really like that people are sort of. The level of awareness that's going on right now with regards to these things, it's significant.
It's very high.
There's a few things, and I'd posted a couple of swings I made with it yesterday, and same thing. Like people are now picking up things about club fitting and testing and equipment that I'm shocked at the level at which the IQ has increased, which is really, really great to see.
It is.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just shows that the base kind of knowledge level is up, which.
Big time.
For manufacturers means they're going to have to step up that marketing stuff because people are smarter.
Definitely.
That's you know what I mean? It's like the smarter your consumer is, the harder you need to work.
The ones where technology lies in truth will shine so bright during that time.
Yes, they will.
And I've got to think our pal Mr. Voshall and co over at Mizuno must just be thinking, we're getting ready for our time.
I have a feeling that if there was a year for them to grab a bunch of market share, I know we talked about some of the percentages and they want 2% or 3% of drivers would be amazing for them. The Fairway Wood market alone, I think they're going to pick up a couple percent. And if they have the program to get it in enough people's hands. Because we get that comment a lot, like, I like it, I can't try it enough. So it seems like their demo network is growing.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'd be curious. They're nice enough usually to share some of their stats with us at the end of the year. So
absolutely.
2022, I mean, who knows? Maybe they pick up a couple percent. It's literally a company-altering year for them. That'd be great.
They deserve it. 100%. There's nothing about that product that is a barrier to anyone using it. And I try and think of the category who could use that. I could fit that to a 20 handicapper and a PGA Tour player.
Yes.
That's how wide that is.
Yes.
That head profile, the ease of launch, it's fast, it's adjustable. Like, it just ticks every single box that you could possibly want.
Where is it, by the way? What do they do with this thing? Oh, it's in the close-up room. I was going to bring it over, but it will be the 3-wood likely that I start the year with, unless something else changes. Mm-hmm. It's very friendly. Very friendly.
Very friendly indeed. All right, let's dive into a few little questions. We've got Vosh and 5.
Yeah.
So
grab 5 questions or so.
Let's see what we got. I mean, Silverado has got a great question. Is the new Mizuno driver very much much of an upgrade from the ST200G? Let's ask Vosh.
Yeah.
Let's let Chris. He will be able to tell you the internal DNA. We can share our thoughts and how much we like it. I think it's for a significantly wider audience, that particular model, than the G. The G was very low spin, orientated towards the player who's just trying to bring that spin way down. So coming in 9 degree, 2 tracks, move that forward. It was a real bomber's driver. I saw a little question there. Let me dive in. Taylor S. If Ian is a 10 out of 10 fitter, what are the other boys in the shop? Don't hear much about them. Guilty. We are guilty for that, and we will not be guilty later in the year. You'll see much more about our guys. We've actually a really cool feature that Matt and I have been chatting about to get the other boys involved and the other fitters, get you guys to know the other fitters, which is obviously if we weren't in lockdown and COVID restrictions right now, we would have launched a series where it's like TXG hot takes, where basically like our guys haven't even seen the new TaylorMade Callaway, Ping, Cobra, and they've not seen any of that product yet because literally we've been in lockdown since mid-November.
That's right.
I cannot wait to do a little series where we hand them the product and go, what do you think?
Yeah.
And then we film them hitting it for 10 minutes and go, give us your thoughts. Okay, it looks different, it looks like this, looks
literally
like that.
a first impression.
Yeah, a little kind of hot take session with our guys. And I think you'll get to know then their personalities, the things that they like about product and how much value they add as well. Every one of them is incredible, so it doesn't really matter who you land with at TXG. It's going to be a good experience for you.
Fantastic. Okay, are we ready for Vosh? Or do you want to take one more?
No, that's good. So if Vosh is ready, we're definitely
He's
there.
in the green room.
There he is. Let me pop this in.
Okay. We're going to not echo in your ears today, folks. I've brought my high-tech splitter in. Let's hope this works.
Let's see.
All right. There's Vosh. Vosh, can you hear us?
I can. One second. I'm going to do the same thing you guys are doing.
Can you get sound?
Hopefully, if that'll help out.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Damn. It's just in my ear. Okay. We'll do the mic meeting.
Can you hear me?
Let me see it 1 sec. Let me switch this around. I think I may have the cables.
Oh. Probably won't matter, but.
Let's see. It wasn't fit.
Sorry, Bosch.
No worries at all.
We are live.
Got him?
Yeah.
Oh! Who knew that would matter?
I know. How are you, pal?
Gosh, hello.
I'm doing very well. Hey, what's going on, guys? How are y'all?
We're doing good, thank you.
We're doing good.
Thank you for joining us, Vosh. Thank you.
Anytime.
Great.
I wish I was up there. It's, like you were saying earlier, it's weird that I haven't been up there this year at all. I miss Toronto.
It's weird I haven't been to Toronto in the winter, he says. Said no one ever. But we do miss you. We appreciate it. We do miss you.
You've had some cold stuff down in Atlanta, I heard.
Yeah, it's been, right now it's pretty cold. This past weekend was fantastic, actually.
Yeah,
I think it almost got up to 60 degrees, so I was able to get out a couple of times, which was nice.
That's comfortable.
The cold just rolled through, but then it's supposed to be back again decent tomorrow. So hopefully get some golf in on Saturday and, try to do as much as I can.
So jealous. Yeah. So jealous. Where do you play golf in your area, Vosh?
So there's two courses. They're actually right next to each other. There's Country Club of the South and there's Rivermont Golf Club. They're both really, really close to each other. Mizuno does a lot with Country Club of the South, where we have our testing center out there, and that's where we have like a robotic golfer and all of our test equipment. So they're two very different courses. So I actually like to go back and forth between them, and there's good groups at both of them. It's a lot of fun. So I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do that.
Attaboy. How's the speed training going?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I fell off a little bit towards the end of the year, but I picked it up again on January 1st. So I'm doing every other day. I'm getting my swings in, and I measured 164 ball speed the other day, which was the fastest I've gotten for myself.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing.
We'll see. That definitely wasn't a golf course swing, but I feel like my course swing has gone from, I was like 48 to 50, and now I'm like 55 to 58. I feel like as a normal swing. Brilliant. So
it's a lot of distance right there.
Yeah, that's a great little nugget for people, that in order to raise your baseline, you have to get higher in like a bay type environment. So you just got to swing for the fences, and then that's what's going to raise your base, isn't it?
So true.
It's amazing what a workout swinging all out is. Like, I mean, you get exhausted after about 10 swings, but it's fun.
I know. Well, let's just dive into the new product. So we kind of got it in hand at the start of the week. Done a little bit of testing on Monday. Done the live testing of the drivers and fairways.
Behind us here.
Huge success for us. How has it been received kind of globally?
It's funny how all of a sudden, it started with a little bit of a tease with Matt's initial hits of the Fairway Woods the other day. And then yesterday with the full-on review, it's like all I keep hearing about is our Fairway Wood. So it speaks to a couple of things. It speaks to the reach that you guys have and how many people are watching and putting a lot of, understanding the tech you talk about and the numbers that you're delivering and showing. But it's been really good. This is what would be PGA Show week, obviously. So we've been presenting to a number of different people on, it feels like every different streaming platform on the planet. Like every day we're on a different one. But a lot of really good feedback across the entire wood line, the Z and the X driver, the Fairway Wood. What's funny is the Fairway Wood was under the radar until the last couple of days. So, we appreciate everything you guys are seeing and talking about it. So
it's great. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I think in our testing and when we try things, it just, it's going to show up. Performance like that is going to show up, and it just we couldn't hide the fact that it just ticked every single box that you would want from a fairway wood. You have certain ones that are great on launch, certain ones that are great on spin, certain ones that are good in speed, but very rarely do you couple that all together. And from the testing we done on Matt's test live, I could just see that just starting to really manifest, that it just had everything you would want in a fairway wood.
It also looks a lot better. That's the one thing I will say. I feel like we may have tested other fairway woods that we have that do great stuff also. Yeah. We definitely haven't tested one that does that looks like that. I think that's where the love affair began, was the appearance.
Well, and I think that you bring up a really interesting point where in the days of launch monitors, where everybody's going on simulator, getting fit, it's very easy for a manufacturer to say, I want my club to do this better than anybody else's. So it's like there's some clubs that are just the ultimate in low spin. And what that ultimate in low spin will mean is oftentimes you're going to struggle with launch, you're going to struggle with forgiveness. There's a lot of clubs that just maximize forgiveness, and usually spin is put a little bit beside because of that. But with the fairway wood, we've always taken an approach of the extreme of anything isn't necessarily the best. It's what's the proper mix of forgiveness, size, MOI, spin, launch. And, obviously I think the last couple generations of ours, they've been very good on the forgiveness side, but they have missed out a little bit on the launch and spin side. I feel like they've spun a little bit too much. And to Matt's point, the look, how it actually transitions from the hosel down to the leading edge, that was something that we weren't always necessarily great at. And we did some changes to the geometry there, which not only make it look better, but it actually frees up the face a little bit more to give you some more ball speed in that area as well.
Interesting. Was there, like the fairway wood stuff, were you guys surprised that we liked it that much? Were you expecting to get great reviews on it? Was it, I'm just curious. Like, I'm almost curious if it's like just me and Ian that are just stoked on it and everyone else is like, oh yeah, it's a fairway wood. Like, I'm just curious what everyone else is saying.
What's funny is it almost feels like the whole industry thinks they're just the fairway woods. We'll talk about the drivers and then the fairway woods are afterwards. So like even if you even go back to when we presented it to you, I think if let's say we have 50 bullet points on the driver and then we have 20 on the fairway wood, it's almost like the fairway wood takes a little bit of a back seat. But that being said, that we're very excited about it. I will say that the fact that it's gained a lot of momentum and gained some strength just based off the heels of this, it's a little bit surprising just because typically the driver is the sexy one. Yeah. So, I mean, we knew it was going to work. We knew it was going to perform. And then we knew where we stood against our competitors because we've measured everything. And we always take a very hard look at ourselves and are very critical in terms of what our mass properties look like, where our CG is, where our sweet spot is, what's our MOI, and also looking at percentage up and down the face where that sweet spot projects, because I think that plays a big role in terms of how that club's going to perform and where different strikes are how they're going to affect the spin rate. So we took a hard look at that. We really pushed on the materials this side, especially even on the fairway wood side and the driver side. We pushed on the materials, on the processes, making sure we're as tight to the limit as we can be so that we can maximize ball speed for the COR. So, I mean, overall, I think the fact that it's got a lot of buzz is exciting. I won't say that it's unexpected, but it's a louder and more surprising. I guess it's louder than we expected, I should say.
Nice.
Vosh, how do you feel with this product launch, this metal wood product launch? Do you feel like there's a real shift towards, like, finally people are paying attention? We know we've been doing good stuff for a while, but that people really seem to be getting the essence of what we're trying to put into these clubs.
There's absolutely like a sense of relief going along with that, and it's not that the product hasn't been there, but I think it's a lot of how we've told the story and how we've progressed our wood line as well. If you go back a couple of years, if you liked one generation's wood, the very next year it was a completely different animal, sometimes a different color, sometimes a different sound. Like, it was like we weren't building upon a foundation. And when you look at where we've gained so much traction on the iron world is people know that you swing a Mizuno iron, the look's going to be there, the feel's going to be there, the performance is going to be there, and then it's what subtle tweaks did we make for the fitting side of it on each additional model. So we tried to take a little bit more of that approach towards the wood side, where starting with the ST190, we really were like, this is going to be basically the ground floor of everything we're going to do for the next little bit, and then how are we going to continue to build upon this? So it's like, some people tried the 190, liked the 190, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily bought it. But anyone who then tried the 200, there were some improvements. Granted, there were actually a little bit of things that weren't quite as good, like the sound was a little bit of an issue on the 200. But then we continue to build upon that with the STZ and the X to make it just that much better. So I think it all comes down to trust, and how do you gain trust, and how do you if someone's going to buy a driver, there's a level of trust if you buy one of the bigger names. If you know that a TaylorMade's going to work, that a Callaway, that a Ping, you trust those. So it doesn't feel like there's any sort of risk in that purchase. We want to try to do everything we can to remove the fear of risk of a Mizuno, and that starts with building a foundation, building that trust.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a very good point.
One of the things I love in that story is that you guys knew that patience would be required for this version to be accepted and sort of revered the way that it is being right now, because like that journey, that 3-model journey to get to here was a little bit of trial and error. Here's a look, here's a shape, here's a sound, here's some performance characteristics. We're going to pull from all of that, and then we're going to bake all of that into the new model, and I think people really appreciate that. We appreciate it, certainly as testers and fitters. It's a really great story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like building a golf swing. I mean, you have to trust in the process of what we're doing. Like to think that you're going to flip a switch and we're going to come with a product, and we're not the company to say, look at this tech and scream at you with everything going on and basically say this is something that's way better than everybody else, because everyone's making good product. Yeah. So ours was all about the process of building that trust, building that foundation, and then ultimately setting us up and understanding that it's going to take us a little time to get there. We have goals of where we want to get to, but our goals are relatively modest in terms of, we know to get here, you have to earn that spot. And how do we earn that spot?
Yeah. So let's dive into the drivers. So we've tested STZ. We haven't yet done any significant testing with X. Obviously we'll get into that, and we've got a specific tester who's going to come in and do that with us. Let's talk a little bit about the innovation and some of the changes, and maybe Z first, then we'll go into X.
Sure. So the key things wanted to try to do were focus on, and I guess I'll speak to the name of it, what the STZ refers to. The Z is maximizing or optimizing the weight placement along the Z axis. The Z axis being the axis going in the front back direction, like from the face back. So we wanted to optimize the weight placement along that axis. And what that entailed was, where can we save a lot of mass that we could then refocus low and deep along that axis? Yeah. So you can see a larger composite crown. It stretches further towards the face and further towards the back. It's much bigger. It's much more visible. We removed mass from the toe and heel with the composite windows and focused all of that all the way back. You can see, I know there's some companies where they took completely all of the mass away from the sole and put it 100% back, but we actually left it along that Z axis. So that center part is titanium as well, and I think that's going to lead to a little bit more stability as well. So those are the things that we tried to do to make sure that the weighting was optimized. On top of that, there's subtle changes that we made in different areas as well. The wave sole that's on the bottom, we optimized in the way that's weighted, where we actually thinned out that first wave, which gave us more mass to play with. It also allowed the bottom portion of the face to flex a bit more. We thinned out a low area on the face itself, where we have our multiple face thickness. On the low area, it's thinner than it's ever been. And we're using a material it's called an SAT, a super alloy titanium 2041, which is a very expensive, unique material that's got a great combination of low modulus, high strength. So it's a material that's going to be able to flex, and it's going to then rebound and retain its shape very, very consistently.
Every time I hear that the SAT material, I think of Alex Etch's video. It was literally Alex's tagline, something like I'm sat here doing something.
Satting down.
Satting down.
He made a joke for literally 8 people that would get it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Please allow me to get the UPS delivery.
And I love Alex. He's one of my favorite guys. And one of the funniest things is, so he, if you saw, he actually broke out into song singing to his driver. He was singing Wonderwall to the driver, which was fantastic, because I actually have a video of Alex singing Wonderwall at karaoke. So I forwarded that to him. It must be his go-to thing. I love it.
Yeah. He is such a great spot in this kind of window of characters that exists on YouTube and social media, and I think what he does is just going to continue to get more popular, because he's got such a personality. Obviously, he's now getting into serious testing as well. He's looking at numbers and things like that. He's awesome.
What I love is, I think everybody, or a lot of testers, tend to take themselves a little bit too serious. He does a great job of He delivers all the info you need, gives numbers, but at the same time, he makes it fun. His are very, very fun to watch, and you don't know what you're going to get. There's something to be said for consistency, but his consistency is almost inconsistency with a weirdness to each one.
Yeah, no, it's great to watch. Matty boy's back in here. So let's go into the STX driver. Tell us a little bit about that one, Vosh.
So the thing with the X is, I talked about the Z-axis on the STZ. With the STX, our focus was to move mass along the X-axis. So X-axis being in the toe-heel direction. So I know there's a lot of drivers out there that are aimed towards the person who wants to turn it over, more draw bias. And this is one where it's a little bit unique in that market because there is some potential draw bias to it. However, we didn't want to make one that's just going to hook. So there's more to it than that. So with this, if you move the mass along that X-axis, so actually closer to the hosel, there's a secondary thing to that. So, engineering-wise, what it's going to do is it's going to minimize the moment of inertia about that axis, which means that the toe is able to close down quicker. But aside from that, if you're a player who actually likes to work the ball, having a minimized CG to shaft axis actually allows you to manipulate the head a little bit more. Yes, it allows you to close it down, but also it puts the player a little bit more in control. And you see that a lot when companies will make, a 460 head and then a 420 head. The point of the 420 head is often that CG is actually a little bit closer to the shaft axis. So in terms of the geometry of the head, it's a deeper face, which a lot of better players actually prefer. It's shorter from toe to heel. It's shorter from front to back. And then weighting-wise, we actually, instead of having the composite windows on the toe and heel, we expanded the toe composite and then concentrated more mass on the heel, where it's all titanium at the heel. And we shifted the weight screw down to the heel as well. So all those things to minimize that distance of the CG to the shaft axis. So if you're a player who really wants it to turn over, it's going to be the easier one to turn over. But also, if you're a player who likes to try to hold on to the face and do other things and like put the player in control as opposed to the head in control, you could actually work with that X pretty easily.
That is a nugget, Chris, that people will probably have to press pause and replay on that because and it's such a brilliant one that a draw bias or a heel weighted driver pulling that mass heel side is actually the component that gives you not just a one-dimensional ball flight, actually gives you the ability to maneuver the head around and much more than pulling it back on that Z-axis that provides more stability. And thinking of irons over the years, blade irons, long hosels and things like that, pulling that CG heel side and being able to maneuver the head, a lot of people think that makes something draw bias when really that isn't the case.
That's exactly right. I mean, the way we've seen it in terms of how people release and how people release a club through impact. There's a couple different types of players. There's ones who the head is completely in control, and those are the ones who kind of release, and you don't want to say flip, but a little bit of a flip is more of that, where the head's in control. And for those players, minimizing that CG to shaft axis is going to allow that head to flip around. However, there's a large number of players, particularly better players, who maintain a little bit more angle. And when you maintain more angle, you're a little bit more in control and you can manipulate and control that face. So if you have a shorter CG to shaft axis, then the player can control that better. As soon as that MOI gets really large, or the sweet spot gets too far away from the axis, from the hosel, or even too deep in the head, you see the same thing. Where some clubs where it's a really deep center of gravity, those are tough to manipulate as well and tough to control, just because that increases that overall moment. And your analogy to a blade is perfect. A blade, almost all blades have the shortest CG to shaft axis of any irons. And they're the most workable irons. Yeah. They're the lowest MOI about the shaft axis. That's what comes into it.
Right. Love it.
One thing I was going to ask is, if this driver could be workable, this is the X, and maybe isn't just for the slow swing draw bias player, how do we make this work if it's 190 grams? Like, someone like me sounds like I might, to be honest, I know they don't make it in lefty, but I would try it given that conversation. So how do we make that function when it's 8 grams lighter than the other head?
Well, that's one of the big improvements on the STX versus the ST200X, where the concept was the same on the ST200X. However, all the weights were fixed. On the STX, that actually you can see it's got a white weight as opposed to the Z has a blue weight on it. The white is aluminum, the blue is stainless steel. So it's 11 grams versus 4 grams. So actually that 4-gram weight, that aluminum is, you can remove that and actually, through our custom or, you guys in your build shop, you're able to swap those out. It's a cool. T25 security Torx. You can do, you always have to be a little bit careful because aluminum is very soft and it's very easy to strip that aluminum if it's not fully seated. We don't want the consumer necessarily doing that. To break a good builder could do it. But we want to be able to manipulate that head weight. And essentially it's like, really cool. It gives you more options of things you can do, where on the iron side of the world, we have A weight heads and B weight heads depending on length and stuff like that. This essentially gives us that same ability on the wood world as well, where if you want to build it over length, you could actually put one of those lighter weights in a Z as well. So if you're someone who's testing, 46-inch, whatever, you can do that.
Be careful on
the. I would say be careful on the Z because it does have a thread lock in there. So so you might need to make sure you do something.
They all have that little center thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, see that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So we'll definitely play around with that. Do you have one of those wrenches?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So we'll play around with that. That's the exact 7 grams basically between the two would be switched if you put the blue weight instead of the silver one. Maybe that's something we could
So the same shell weight
same shell weight.
Yeah, the colors different.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Good to know.
Very, very cool. Some cool news on tour this week. That's right. Jason Day putting in a nice set of JPX 921 tours. That must have been pretty pleasing.
What's cool is he's always been one of my absolute favorite guys to watch.
Yeah.
He's an easy guy to cheer for. He's so likable. As soon as he went off contract, he started searching around, and we were one of the companies he came to, and he's been doing some testing with basically everybody. So we were very happy when we actually heard it almost through a third party that, hey, I ran into Jason Day and he had your clubs in the bag, which is always exciting news to find out. But he's teeing it up this week at Torrey, and he does have a set of 921 tours in the bag, and actually it's a great combo set. What's funny, it's the exact same combo set I have, not that I have any other relation to Jason Day, but he's got exactly. He's got HMBs in the 3-iron and the 4-iron, and then JPX 921 tours in the 5-iron through pitching wedge. That's a really cool. Great combo set.
Yeah.
Is it ever?
That's cool to see, isn't it? That is cool to see. So what other news have you got for us? Anything else going on at HQ?
It's been an amazing year, obviously a strange year, but an amazing year for the golf division as a whole. I feel like we have so much momentum and so much buzz around just what we're doing and how we're growing. If you look at where we ended the year, I think in terms of market share across the board, we're doing things we wanted to do. So our driver category is growing. We're gaining momentum. The ST200 was a great stepping stone to now the STZ and X, and we're already looking at early numbers and the early people who have pre-ordered and brought them in. We actually are blowing out our number, which is great. The iron side, obviously, whenever we're launching a new JPX line, it speaks to so many golfers, and the improvements that we've made on the hot metal and the forge and the tour, they're really, really off to a strong start. And then what's fun is we actually have some buzz around other categories as well. The wedge world, where we've always been relatively conservative with one-piece grain flow forge wedges. Our ES21, it's just a talking point wedge that people want to look at, people want to try. Some people want to try just to say, I hate this thing. but at least they try it and they're going to be surprised with it. And then it's like the putter category is one that quickly has moved into what started as, let's just see if there's a demand for Mizuno putters, to really it's become one of our strongest categories where we've struggled to maintain inventory with them.
That's crazy.
So the addition of the 4, 5, and 6 as line extensions of the MCraft series, we're so excited about it, and just excited to get 21 off to a great start.
Very cool.
Nice.
Well, why don't we transition? I'd love to give there's a ton of people joined us on the live here. Would love to just kind of almost pass it over to them now, just to ask a bunch of questions and see what they want to ask you while we've got you.
Good.
Sure.
So
let's just grab as we see him coming in.
Yeah, I think I saw a bunch, Chris, just about 3 drivers becoming 2. No more G driver, no more adjustable weights. Maybe if you can just talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that clearly needs discussion, because the G driver definitely has a place. But if you look at our lineup with the ST200, we had the ST200, obviously the kind of one with no name, and then the X and the G on the perimeters. Really, we sold, I'd call it 80% of the standard versus 10% X, 10% G. The G was an extremely low spin golf club. It actually remains in our line, so the 200G still is available.
Okay, so you're right.
But it is a golf club that really speaks to a very small part of the market. If you're that person with loads of speed who really needs to kill spin, I'd put this up against anybody, any of the Sub-Zeros, any of the whatevers, for just a spin killer. So with these two, the goal of these two was to speak to a wider portion of the market. So now we have 2 heads where the X became a lot more broad appeal in terms of adding some workability to it, adding the ability to build it up to a standard length without the M-Fusion shaft that was 45 3/4, super lightweight head. So really it's 2 different looks and 2 different ball flights kind of built into it. So yes, we did go from 3 to 2, but the G continues and it's still available, and you aren't necessarily, I don't think it's going to be the last you see of movable weights from Mizuno. It's just in this launch cycle.
Yeah, it's great to know that ST200G is still available, still very much part of the line.
Makes sense.
That's awesome.
A few people asking about hybrids, Chris. Am I correct that last year was a CLK release, 2020? We would be waiting. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. So we've done a couple of things where, if you look at the world of woods, it feels like hybrids have been locked in with fairway woods and drivers, where most companies will say, all right, well, here's your new fairway wood or driver, here's the fairway and hybrid with the same name. We consciously tried to pull the hybrid out of that world, because to us, the hybrid it's so much more than just the next long distance golf club. So we tried to really disconnect those and we did the same thing with our wedges, where we used to have MP and JPX. We wanted to pull those away, and the CLK line has been a really successful one for us. This designed to not necessarily link to a lot of the technologies of the woods, because it's not necessarily a smaller version of the fairway wood. There's more to it than that. So the CLK is it's going into its 2nd year with the 2020 CLK, and it's going to continue on, and then you might see something later for that down the line.
Nice. Very, very nice. Obviously, since there hasn't been an announcement, we're around PGA Show time, so we're probably not ready to talk about it, but is there anything we can touch on with golf ball evolution?
That's a great question. So the golf ball category is an interesting one for us, and I'll be the first to say that we've learned a lot of things from the golf ball development, and we've been really pushing our team to make sure that the next version is the perfect version, and it made all the improvements that we needed. So we actually are going to continue on with the current golf ball line for 1 more year, and then you'd expect to see the next golf ball for us a little bit further downstream. We had worked on one that we were ready to go, but it didn't quite check all of the boxes boxes we were wanting to check for this launch cycle, which it was originally scheduled to come for this launch cycle. So we wanted to see if we can't continue to improve it and take it a step further. So RB2 or RB2 or X continue on, and then the RB566 and 566V carry on as well.
Love it. Love it.
A few people asking about what your favorite Mizuno release has been, Chris, from the last, let's see, 3 years. Let's go 3 years.
Whew, the last 3 years. That's a
so you can get
tough
enough iron lines in there. You get 2 iron lines, you got 2 drivers, wedges.
Each one is so unique in what we're trying to do and the story we're trying to tell. I mean, I think obviously MP20 is a very fun release just because of some of the things we could do with it, like I think over my shoulder, this shoulder, the copper club stuff. I think was really fun because we could do something unique with it, and it was something it's very Mizuno. I think you may have seen some other copper clubs coming recently, but I think we feel like we got all that going. So I think that was a very, very fun one. I'm always partial to a new JPX Tour model as well, just because that's a model that's always been something that fits exactly what I'm looking for in a golf club. That it's a shallow cavity, it's small, it's one piece, it looks like a player's club, but plays bigger than it looks. So I'm always excited whenever we launch a JPX Tour model, just because I think it speaks to more people than try it. And those who try it almost fall in love with it and continue on with it. So the 921 Tour is an awesome golf club, and I'm excited about it. Anytime we have a new launch, it's like a new set of children. It's tough to say exactly, though.
We make everyone do that. We made Jose at Cobra do the same thing, and he gave a similar answer. He's like, well, it's kind of like telling somebody who's which of your kids is your favorite.
Right.
Are you playing the new driver? Are you playing the new 3-wood? What's going on with your personal?
Here.
Oh, are you?
I can scoot right over here. Actually, I got my bag right here.
Love it.
I do have the new driver. I put it into play. Yeah, I've got the.
Is that real?
The Z.
Oh, okay.
I put it into play.
Loft on that?
9.5. It's very standard.
9.5. Okay.
I am
shaft?
Oh yeah. Ventus black. It's a 6S, but it's tipped about 3/4 of an inch. To me, it was, and I loved my ST200. It was a really good driver. To me, I felt like I got a bit more speed out of it, but more than anything, my misses are better. My misses are a lot straighter, and I don't feel like I lose hardly anything with my misses. So I've really enjoyed it. So it's been a nice setup for me.
That's awesome. Good to see. Straight into the new stuff. Love it.
Yes. And very it's funny cool. You asked about the fairway wood. I actually have the tour spoon of the 200, and I play my fairway wood really short, so I've rack glued the hell out of it.
It's a Frankenstein. It
is. Yeah, but it sounds really like there's a thud to it. It doesn't sound hot at all. With that being said, the good thing is I've got a Ventus black in there, and it's got the adjustable hosel. So what's funny is, as we're coming up to a new launch, it's always do we have enough product to supply the demand for it? So I actually haven't been able to get my hands on a new head yet. I think you have a 3-wood.
We have one, Chris.
You might have mine. I don't know.
This is, but Ian's not giving this back. I promise you. I saw the look in his eye.
But I'm very excited to put the new 3-wood in, and what's great because it's a quick switch, and my tour spoon's a quick switch, so it's literally just if I can get the head weight right, it's just an easy change.
That's awesome. Would you be able to modify your head weight with this little screw here, or are you gonna have to rack glue again?
I'd probably pull that out and then rack glue in there. So that's a real small one. It's the same.
It's not
believe
very big,
it's the
is
same.
It?
No, it's not. It's only, I don't know what the weight is on that one is. I think it's 10 grams. I'm not positive, but it's not massive.
Gotcha.
We use so much mass.
There? That's a hot melt port basically for them.
Correct. Yes.
Fantastic.
Vosh, would you give the 5-wood a try? I'm really excited to see people in that STZ 5-wood.
That would be a good 5-wood.
I have this is probably my favorite club. This is a 190 5-wood, which I've never.
Oh yeah.
I've never been a 5-wood player until, and it's funny, what started it was the first test samples we got in for the STZ. Where we got 5 woods to test actually before we got 3 woods, which is a little bit weird. We usually get 3s before 5s, but we did a 5-wood test, and I've always wanted a golf club that carries 230. Like that's the number I feel like, into a lot of par 5s, that's a good number to be able to carry. And I had strong hybrids that had done that, but at the same time, they'd always come in a little bit hot. And then when we did that fairway test, the 5-wood of the STZ was carrying almost exactly 230, and it was coming in at like 44 degrees or something like that. So it was landing really nice. So that was something that after that, again, it was an early prototype where the head was all blacked out and there was literally one of them. So the next thing I did is I went and I was like, well, I'm going to go buy a 5-wood now. And we were already sold out of the 5-woods of the ST 200. So I actually found in our old tour stash a 5-wood of the 190, so built that up. So absolutely, I'm going to try the 5-wood of that. So I want the 5-wood in both of those.
Ooh. I was just speaking with Mikey last night down at our other studio, and we were chatting about, he was asking, should he play a 5-wood, should he play a hybrid? And I said to him, go STZ 5-wood, cut it half-inch short. It already sits a little flatter. Go half-inch short, bump the weight of the shaft up 10 grams. He's going to play Ventus Red 8 stiff, 41 and a half. It'll sit nice and flat, and that thing will just be so easy to launch. It'll be very, very nice at kind of minimizing any left bias. That'll be a machine.
Yeah, that's a great club. I might have one of those. I'll 5-wood of some kind. Yeah.
The thing I loved the most about when you guys were doing your fairway wood review is, it's so easy to get infatuated with the distance and what's a total number on a fairway wood. But a fairway wood, a lot of people, you hit it off the tee as a control club. If you're hitting it into a par 5, it's trying to be a controlled distance. And I think the landing angle of a fairway wood is so often overlooked because it is probably the most valuable thing of whether a fairway wood's going to work or not. 100%. So it's like, I feel like people need to look at that, and you guys preach that very well, which, it's something that we see that, and tour players are the same way. If you give them a fairway wood that doesn't land steep, then they don't necessarily want it.
Yeah. And that's what we were saying, with the 3-wood, there was other ones that we had tested the other day, and they had good characteristics about them. But
this was the shortest one technically, but it served a purpose where the other two were distance.
Just the balance of what it's trying, what it was. I mean, it was the fastest, it launched the highest, actually spun the most, but it had the tightest window of spin, and it just performed like a 3-wood should.
It did, and we were using at the maximum loft at the 15. The other two were 14 and a half.
14 and a half.
So
and 15.
even this was at 14, I think it wouldn't be high spin anymore. It would probably just be just under 3,000. Probably would have had even more ball speed on it. So it was the clear standout for both of us, I think.
I think that little sneaky nugget on that 5-wood is also that it can turn down to 16 degree for the player who struggles with a little bit of face rotation.
Make a little forward too.
It sits nice, and obviously 18 degrees, just sit that a little bit open. Ooh. I think that could be really good for a lot of people out there who like a 4-wood.
And it's funny because you get fairway woods have become so expensive. There's been so much multi-material and a lot of crazy constructions put on them that they've gotten so expensive that I feel like that the price point of a fairway wood has made it almost become a little mini driver. And again, that's not necessarily the point of it. So the fact that ours, and you hate to say that ours are the bargain, but they are relatively inexpensive, where we offer the quick switch adapter where you can adjust that face angle. I know for a lot of players, particularly better players, a left miss with a fairway wood is just like the scariest thing on the planet. So to be able to open that face up is a really good thing.
Yeah, I saw a lot of those 18 degrees opened up, I think.
A ton.
Opened all the way up with a 4-wood length shaft.
One.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Sold.
Yeah. Well, Vosh, we always appreciate your time, and you're so generous with us and sharing with our community, all these great nuggets. This is an MP release year,
That's
so
right, it is.
I can't wait till later in the year till we're back on together talking about that.
Won't be long.
I can't I can't wait either. So we got some exciting things, and they're actually a little bit different than you think they're going to be, which is always a good thing to keep you guessing a little bit. So we're excited about it. I saw someone earlier on when I was on commenting about their love of the SC. I saw an early comment that
I
the
saw
SC
that one
was
as
the best
well.
swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny because we actually were having a conversation about that yesterday about the SC, how that's a little bit of a hole in our market, but it's funny how the tour has kind of taken over for that. But you're right, it's an MP year, and you'll see something different coming from us, but it's not just your typical. So
it's nice. That's very a good little preview.
Exciting. Right. Nice little teaser just to.
Thanks, Bob. People love a teaser.
Yeah, buddy, take care. Okay. Look forward to seeing you.
You too.
See you soon. Thanks,
awesome.
Chris.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all be good. Bye.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye.
Fantastic. Good as always.
Yeah.
Never disappoints. Oot. All right.
What a guy.
Can hear the world again.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
It's like being in the movies. You go to the movies, you come out, you're like, there's a world out here?
Anytime we're podcasting and you got the kind of headphones on, I'm like, how does Joe Rogan do this all the time? Where it's like, you still feel like you have your senses when really you can't hear a thing. It's an odd.
I know, it is odd. I guess it does help you focus on the guest at hand, though.
Yeah. Well, Vosh never disappoints, does he? He's the best of the best, and he's definitely, as far as guests go for us, doesn't get any better than
cream of
him.
The crop, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Okay, guys. So let's kind of
take a few questions before we
go.
Over
Over to you. Yeah. Let's know.
Let's do a little speed round before we.
Let's do that.
Wrap up. Yeah. Go nuts.
Let's definitely.
It can be Mizuno related. It can be any other golf topic related. Whatever you guys want to do.
Definitely.
The take.
Definitely. Chris, good question. Super speed, then fit, or get fit, then do super speed? Chris, if you can look yourself in the mirror and have an honest conversation with yourself, am I going to stay the course with super speed?
Yeah.
Do super speed, then get fit. See where you fall after that. See what your gains are, because I think the average consumer who stays the course for super speed gains 7 miles an hour club head speed. If you can look yourself in the face and know that you're going to stay the course, because that's everyone's biggest issue.
It is.
Get fit after you do super speed.
Yeah.
That'd be what I'd say.
People are asking what came from UPS. The boxes are weird and heavy.
Are they?
I'll look at them, sure. I'll look.
Not sure, but I tell you what, he never, he wasn't light with the door, was he? Have we still got a door?
He almost came through it.
I mean, and literally the banging of the door to like the no gap to where somebody can open a door to just doing it again.
And I came out, I'm just like, I'm on the phone. You're making a lot, like basically, we're on the phone. That's why we're not standing at the door. We don't have a doorman, so that's okay with you. I'll tell you what it is.
What is it? Heads? Look at
TRG Bespoke.
Wait till you see. You guys are getting the. Was the UPS guy grumpy day? Yes, he was, John. He was.
When in doubt, assume the answer is yes.
So we'll get some lovely brand new TXG accessories. Literally just arrived. Sean, head covers are en route. Head covers, the EP head covers. Let's see that little badge.
I died.
Really hoping you guys can.
I'll do close-ups after. You won't be able to see.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Is it? Yeah. Okay, it's trying to focus on it. It's a really, really nice little marker. Beautiful. What else we got?
Bag tag coming.
Oh, well, bag tags.
And I got the CNC divot tool coming.
Wow. That's one of our most popular little accessories. That little CNC divot tool is huge. Huge. Very cool. Dave's saying, I love that marker. I look forward to losing one. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's nice. Look at that little bag tag with the new logo.
This is nice.
That's really nice, eh?
I'll tell you what, I'm relieved because when you make mock-ups, okay.
Look at that.
I'm changing the camera setting. We need to get close-ups here. This is too good.
That is special.
Something about that just really turns my crank. I'm not afraid to tell you on live camera. Okay, so come super close.
Okay.
Okay, CNC divot tool.
Let me flip that around.
Sexy alert. Are you noticing that they even did the font for us? That's one of our official fonts on the back.
That is really cool.
We've never had that before. Official font on the back, new logos. Oops, have I died? New logo on the front, little snowflake design, 2 colors, little lines. Dude, that's sick. Show us that
Love
coin
that.
again.
Little coin.
We are stoked. Oh, I'm so relieved this stuff turned out nice. Oh! So that is actually custom milled and paint filled with enamel. And the same with the bag tag.
So got the logo on both sides.
Yeah, sorry,
guys.
it's reverse. It's a mirror image.
Both sides.
Milled and then the bag tag, sorry laddie.
What a beautiful thing.
Last one.
So,
I think that's the last one, guys.
So there's your little bag tag, and then get your.
You can engrave it if you'd like.
Engraved on the back.
We don't do engraving currently, but you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Mike and I were just talking about that.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got a little idea for something with regards to marking our demo heads so that we can mark individual CG locations on the heads, and if there's
like a laser.
Yep. It's a little milling process.
Because you can do custom work with that too.
That'd be cool.
It's a machine.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
I would say quantity 1, add to cart, purchase.
Yeah. They seemed like they were good.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I pressed a button I shouldn't have pressed. Oh, easy. Stop doing that. Stop doing that green thing. Stop it.
What's that? Just that unstable.
Sorry. I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
I'll fix it in 2 seconds.
Not sure why.
No? There we go. Okay. Sorry.
We're back.
So that is, I believe, all of the stuff that came in. It will be up on the website by this weekend.
Oh boy.
What's this? More coins?
So we'll get that up on the website.
Buy a dozen coins each. We got a lot of coins. Buy a dozen bag tags and coins each. Yeah, I think that's everything.
A purchase of the new accessories is an entry into the competition. That's what that is. Oh boy!
Wow, payola.
So no, that'll be good. That will be good.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Okay.
All right.
We are glitching.
Randy said, "Ian, is that a green nightmare?" It would have to be green, wouldn't it? The color.
It was a green nightmare.
It would have to be green. All right, let's dive into a few more here. Let's see.
Okay.
Phenom the Prodigy wants the bag tag. I'm not surprised.
I also want the bag.
There's one of those going on my bag today.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Super sexy.
Dave, likely on the store over the weekend into early next week, you'll start to see everything on there.
Won't be long, pal.
Yeah.
Won't be long.
Yes.
You can take this one quick. Speaking
Yeah.
You did find that PRGR to be like the best deal ever, isn't it?
I mean, it seems like the people who are out there using it are getting some really good value from it. I mean, just to give you a general idea of what's going on, club speed, ball speed, and carry distance. Sure, you're not going to get spin axis, you're not going to get path angle attack, you're not going to get any of the reasons as to why the ball done what it done, but you will get a club speed. It's the most accurate one I've tested when it comes to the super speed training, which is good. Right? Which is really, really good.
We will be shipping to the UK, Ian, yes. Not to worry. We ship everything to the UK.
Yeah.
Max is asking, what's the best driver for a consistent high toe strike? A ping, I would say.
Yeah.
A ping is probably your best bet.
Pinger, yeah. Yeah, anything, so obviously something as stable as that and has the ability to shift that weight into the toe, I wouldn't overlook the value. Twist face can have different effects on the toe strike. For some people, it actually creates a block. For others, it manages a hook, what would be a hook, and turns that into a draw. That's me.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what it does for me.
That's right.
Whereas other drivers, I tend to get some kind of hooky ones going, really tilts the axis, and it just not great for me.
Maybe that new Epic Speed with the toe weight might be one to look at also. We haven't done enough toe clank testing on that yet, but it's probably quite good.
Yeah, exactly. LT the Cat, Ian, what is your putter setup? Currently, Mcraft 1. I've got the Stability Tour in there, 35 inches, 2 degrees aloft, 70 lie angle, and it actually has a Scotty Cameron Matador grip on it.
Ooh, yes it does. Your fave.
I really like that. So love the feel of that. Yeah, I know. It's just it's the size, feel, texture, everything I've always really liked about a grip.
It's a tasty grip.
Yeah, it is a beauty.
All right, two more of your favorites. Two more of your favorites.
Two more.
There's our friend Rob Potter saying he was enjoying the Mizuno Fairway wood video. Thank you, Rob.
Nice,
so do we.
boy.
It is a sexy item, that 3 wood. Sexy.
Yeah, they are. They are going to be significant performers. And like I said, I think at the end of that call with Vosh, I expect to actually sell as many 5 woods.
Yeah.
So at the 5/4 wood, I expect to sell as many of those as 3 woods.
As the 3 wood, yeah. I can see that.
It's going to be a big year for those.
Those woods are so fast, you can probably still get lots of distance out of it.
Definitely. All right. Jay, you're teasing. I can't really talk about. Can you talk about CG projection?
TBC.
Yeah, I can't dive into that too. I mean, there's obviously things we're trying to, as a company, create points of difference between us and others. So things like that is one thing I would identify as something we can do. That would be a really significant point of differentiation for TXG. So
it would be.
Obviously trying to keep things like that a little bit internal until we can roll it out.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah,
I like. Okay, last one.
Craig is asking, are the new Tensei 1K shafts? Have I talked to you about that shaft really yet? So Tensei White 1K, are they going to be similar to the Ventus line? I would say yes and no. 1K. That's
Pro White 1K. I'm just looking it up on GolfWX.
So we have them coming.
Oh yeah.
There's some serious tech in that thing.
Different weaves and sexiness going on here.
Yeah. So this is the shaft I'm most looking forward to in 2021.
Oh really?
This is the one for me.
Okay, so it potentially is a Ventus competitor.
Yes.
March 2021.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, so we have ours on the way, and
great.
1K because it costs $1,000. Nope, it won't.
Oh, it's only 600 probably.
It's only $9.99
and some change.
Yeah. No, phenomenal product, phenomenal materials, vertically integrated company. The only company in golf that supplies every component into the shaft itself.
That's right.
Which is a huge part of why their quality control is second to none.
Fantastic.
We absolutely love the shafts by Mitsubishi.
Lovely.
Really good. All right, guys, we are going to love you and leave you. Great live today.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Do us a favor, leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Just helps us get more people on live for next time.
Let's do that.
Thanks again to Chris Vosh.
Yeah.
He continues to be guest numero uno, it would appear, which is good.
Yeah, he's the man.
He is the man.
Definitely. All right.
Videos coming obviously tomorrow. You'll see Titleist Pro V1.
Pro V1.
Pro V1X.
Yep.
We're going to do some Epic Speed versus Maverick today. Should we do that today?
Yes.
Okay, Epic Speed versus Maverick. We'll probably see that Monday morning. And we'll do Titleist golf ball today also. You'll see that tomorrow.
And depending on timing and how we're doing.
Yeah, I forgot about these. These are tasty.
These are really tasty. Guys, have you, who's heard of...
They're custom Edison wedges. Just go closer to your face.
Yeah.
I know.
Have you guys heard of Edison wedges, Edison forged?
They're very traditional looking, very classic.
These things look so good. They have a little bit of a sort of V-sole on there. There's a semi-little cavity to it.
You referred to them as a combination between glide and what? Something else? You said something like a middle ground between glide and...
I can't remember what the other one was. Yeah, no, I do. I remember.
It's like a really player's... I don't know. It's a perfect set for someone that plays cavity back irons. It's just a little small cavity. Edison.
Yeah, formerly known as Score. So in a previous version.
Score.
So, yeah, which is where they had that kind of V sole, but the V is a little bit closer to the leading edge.
Yes.
So obviously, which is more beneficial to the player who leans the handle a little bit, because you've got that lead edge interaction. So very cool.
Cool. Okay, guys.
We've got something coming with those as well. Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Have a great weekend.
We'll see you Monday.
See you Monday.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.